Phil, we're in LA right now. We just got hands-on with The Last of Us Part 2.
Ellie!
Long awaited. They've kind of gone dark the past 16 months or so.
Yeah.
But they finally showed us a lot along with the trailer, and we played what? Hour and a half, 2 hours maybe?
Yeah, it seems like about that much. 2 big demos, like one from the beginning of the game and then one a little further in. And yeah, it's pretty intense.
Yeah, I think one was very story focused, I'd say. It was, I don't want to spoil too much just in case people are waiting for the final game, but it's Ellie with another character, and there's some combat encounters, but it's mostly focuses on the writing between those two characters, which I thought was pretty good.
Those blind motherfuckers make my skin crawl. Let's make sure the rest of the building's cleared out. And then get the fuck out of here. Speaking my language.
Yeah, I enjoyed it quite a bit. It's a lot of that sort of back and forth between two characters that Naughty Dog is kind of known for, and that really makes The Last of Us work.
Yeah, they're very good at making it just feel like a natural conversation between two friends, as opposed to, we gotta get to the tower to do this thing, even though they were trying to get to a tower in that bit.
Yeah,
but,
right.
you know, they joke and talk like friends.
You know how you're gonna die?
Ooh, let me guess. You're gonna kill me? Did I ruin your punchline?
No. Maybe. Fuck you.
Sorry.
But then the second section we saw, which we'll probably talk more about, is the combat. We had more weapons. It was called the Suburbs, and we were able to experiment, try out different things. One thing I noticed was how agile Ellie is compared to Joel.
Yeah, Ellie is a lot quicker and a lot more movement capabilities now, which we saw in the E3 demo a little bit. Like, Ellie can get down on her stomach and kind of like crawl under things. She can lose people in the grass when she does that. Not completely, like you're still somewhat visible, but you can use that to sneak around people a little bit better. And it seemed like you got to be much more mobile in general. I think that's what you were saying.
Yeah.
Like, you can't really just hang back or sit behind a wall in The Last of Us Part 2, not like you could in the first game.
It's because of a couple things, right? Because one, the AI at least felt smarter.
They're much more coordinated.
Much more coordinated, aggressive.
Here, by the fence! Smoke in there! Smoke her out!
And then the other big thing are the dogs, because if they catch your scent, then they will follow you to where, they will just keep following your scent. So that kind of adds an interesting perspective to the combat, right? Because you can't just sit back, wait, figure things out. Yeah, you can use the listen mode, and if you do that, you can see your trail. And the dog, if it catches that trail, if it intersects with that trail, it'll start following it.
Right.
And they're kind of tough to deal with. I noticed they're fast.
They
hard
were
to
a
hit.
thing. Those dogs change it up quite a bit.
And when you kill one,
oh man, yeah, that was a gut wrenching. Shoot a dog and you hear the owner of the dog just scream in anguish. Yeah. Actually, a big part of combat in this game is that the human enemies talk a lot, and they talk to each other in particular.
Got something. We'll look into it.
Another man down! You're still out there, goddammit! I want every building in the area searched!
Stop fucking around here!
You kill a guy and you hear somebody across the encounter go, "No, Tom!" Like, and it's just like, oh, I feel really bad about that.
yeah, the dev was just telling us, one of the devs, the co-director, was saying that all the NPCs in this game are named.
Yeah.
So when someone dies, they will interact. They'll be like, they will call out that person died, or they might say like, "Hey, John, the girl's behind that car," or whatever, and they could be calling out your position.
Yeah. It's intense because like this is a game about what you're willing to do to like survive, and they've amped up. Like the first game was a pretty brutal experience, and this is much more so, I feel like.
Especially when you pick up some of those melee weapons like the machete, like
Oh, man.
and we kind of saw some of it in the E3 demo, but depending on where you are, the kind of contextual kills can change,
Right.
and some of them are very brutal. I was throwing things at enemies, charging up to them, stabbing them with the knife, and depending on where I was, that kill would look different. It would always look brutal, and especially when she chokes someone out. If you look and see her face, like it is.
Oh, yeah.
Or like not even chokes them out because she's got the knife now instead of the
Yeah.
punching that Joel had. But I think the other big thing too, at least with the combat that I noticed, is because the areas seem more open, at least in that second demo, it allowed for much more improvisation.
Yeah.
Which works well, right? Because you've got the dogs tracking you, the enemies are smarter, so it gives you more room. Like, I never really felt like I was trapped in a corner. If I got caught, I'd see a window I could jump off of, and then I could run behind the building and maybe
Right.
craft like a med kit and heal myself and then go around. It all felt fluid.
It definitely feels like you have to be like much more on the move. You've got
Yeah.
to be adapting the combat situation on the fly as quickly as you can, and even in stealth, even as you're sneaking around people and just like taking one person out at a time, you really got to be on the ball, scoping out the area, in and out of buildings, back around, like hopping a fence, losing track of people, maybe giving them an impression of where to go, and then like using that information against them. All the stuff that was sort of present in The Last of Us 1, but it feels like you got to be like much more on top of it.
Yeah, it seems like all those systems that were in place in The Last of Us 1, they all kind of meld even better together in this.
Absolutely.
The game still has a couple months till it comes out. Comes out February 21st, 2020.
Yes.
Make sure to stay tuned to GameSpot because we're going to have plenty of Last of Us 2 coverage. Thank you for watching.
Thanks.